Trillions, maybe more. A vast fortune that floats silently in the global economy, but with a single disturbing detail. No one can touch it. This is not stolen money. It is forgotten money. It is locked in steel vaults beneath the mountains and in digital caskets in cyberspace. It is the ghost wealth, imprisoned by time, by lost passwords, or by the world's oldest secret. We are talking about 20% of all Bitcoin thrown away on a hard drive. Dormant Swiss accounts waiting for heirs who never appeared. The disappeared imperial gold from World War II. The offshore fortunes of dictators who simply vanished off the map, hunted to this day. The greatest loss in the game of wealth is not theft, but forgetting. Frozen fortunes that become legends. They are there, untouched, waiting. But the big question is, will anyone be able to unlock these trillions again? This is the story of the money no one can spend. Case 1. Cryptos lost forever. The invisible treasures. We now enter the most relentless domain of forgotten money, cyberspace. In the world of cryptocurrency, money vanishes in ways humanity never conceived. There is no armed robbery, no safe cracking. The money simply dissolves in the silence of the code. The villain here is not the thief, but our own fallibility, forgetfulness, laziness, a simple misplaced comma in your seed phrase. And the loss is catastrophic. It is estimated that about 20% of all Bitcoin ever mined, a figure exceeding 3.7 million coins, worth hundreds of billions of dollars, is lost forever. Totally unrecoverable. Think about it. This is a mountain of wealth that exists, that is recorded on the blockchain, but which, in practice, is as accessible as treasure buried at the bottom of the ocean. It is there, in plain sight, yet sealed by cryptography. The paradox is cruel. The very system that guarantees its security is the one that seals its fate when you fail. For every billion lost in the system, there is a story of human despair. The new treasure hunt does not involve old maps and X marking the spot. It involves landfills and the smell of decaying trash. It involves the memory of a password you thought you would never forget. Meet the case of James Howells in Wales. In 2013, he accidentally discarded an old hard drive, a trivial routine error, except for one devastating detail. That hard drive contained the key to 7,500 Bitcoins. At the market peak, that was worth over $200 million. Since then, Howells' life has become an odyssey. He has spent years pleading with the local council, offering fortunes in Bitcoin as a reward, trying to get permission to excavate an area the size of a football field, in the desperate hope of finding that small metal box buried under tons of rotten garbage. He is hunting for the needle in the world's largest modern haystack. The irony is brutal. The man is a millionaire, yet he is covered in mud. He legally owns a fortune capable of changing his life and that of his city. But that fortune is sealed by the weight of mountains of garbage. The Howells case is emblematic. It is the physical proof that, in the digital age, the most valuable treasure is not hidden on deserted islands or in sunken ships. It is in our pockets, in our drawers, and, tragically, in our landfills. But most of these losses do not even have a physical body. They are wallets deleted with a hurried click. Passwords of 12 or 24 words simply erased from memory. They are fortunes that lie peacefully in the immutability of the blockchain, waiting for a key that will never be entered again. They are in a state of perpetual suspension. Money that exists, but that has been effectively removed from human circulation. In the digital age, the new lost treasure is not buried in the desert sand, waiting for the next tide. It is buried in code, and for every hard drive that was thrown away, for every password that was lost to time, there is a small part of humanity's financial future that has been frozen, forever. They are the ghost millionaires, and their invisible trillions prove, in the world of cryptography, memory is the difference between wealth and total ruin. Case 2. The Swiss accounts that time forgot. We leave the digital chaos of cyberspace and descend into the realm of money's oldest mystery, a place where wealth is measured not in code but in weight and history, the heart of the Swiss mountains. Here, beneath miles of solid rock, lie millions, perhaps billions, accounts that were opened generations ago and have since remained untouched, sleeping under the protection of the world's most rigorous and legendary banking secrecy. They are the antithesis of Bitcoin. They are not lost in technological oblivion, but sealed by the oblivion of history. Imagine the weight of history imprisoned in these vaults. Some of these accounts belong to families who were wiped out of existence by great wars, heirs who never came to know that a fortune awaited them. Others were opened by shadowy figures, deposed dictators, cartel leaders, or oligarchs who, upon disappearing, took the secret of their wealth to the grave. For decades, these treasures were guarded by an unbreakable oath, older than many of the nations we know today. The Swiss banking secret? It was an impenetrable shield. Banks not only refused to reveal these names, they were legally forbidden to do so. This created a unique financial limbo. The wealth existed, the money was there, but the owner had become a shadow. These fortunes remained in a state of suspended animation, wealth without a purpose, money that cannot buy, sell, or be invested, just waiting. In dusty safety deposit boxes, alongside relics of a bygone past, millions of dollars were frozen like flies trapped in amber. Only in the last 2 decades, driven by global pressure and a new transparency, has this veil begun to lift. Investigators finally started to unearth the history. This was not a treasure hunt with pickaxes, but a methodical and exhaustive archival hunt. Over time, banks were forced to publish lists of dormant accounts. Names that had vanished from civil records resurfaced, linking the present to forgotten fortunes of the past. Each name, each account, opened a new door to a human drama, a war tragedy, or a tale of corruption that had been sealed by time. What they found was more than money. It was history, a secret chronicle of who won, who lost, and most importantly, who disappeared. The silence of the Swiss vaults conceals the truth of how much power and how much pain can be stored out of reach of justice and life itself. And while some accounts manage to find their heirs, many others remain in the dark. Millions of dollars continue to sit there, immune to the market, time, and inflation, just waiting. Fortunes that will only be freed when someone finally brings the key of memory. Case 3. The Imperial Gold of Japan, Yamashita's Treasure. We leave the cold Swiss vaults and go back in time, to a mystery rooted in war and fueled by obsession. This is a tale of vast tunnels, secret maps, and the promise of wealth that could rewrite the history of nations. This is the legend of Yamashita's treasure. In the twilight of World War II, Imperial Japan, facing imminent defeat, desperately needed to hide the spoils of massive plunder. During its military expansion across Asia, the Japanese war machine had looted temples, banks, and residences, accumulating unimaginable quantities of gold, jewels, and artwork. General Tomoyuki Yamashita was tasked with burying this loot. And he did so in a way so ingenious and brutal that the treasure became a mirage. The legend claims that tons of gold were hidden in more than 1,000 sites scattered across the Philippines. These were not simple holes in the ground, but complex underground facilities, mining tunnels sealed with explosives, caves filled with traps, and flooded basements designed to become tombs for the wealth and for the very engineers who concealed it. The idea was clear. When the war ended and Japan recovered, this gold would finance the future empire. But the war ended and the plan collapsed. Yamashita was captured and executed. And with him, the secret of the treasure's exact location was taken. The gold disappeared from official record. It became a whisper, a feverish obsession that consumed the lives of countless treasure hunters, amateur historians, and opportunists. For decades, they have scoured the Filipino jungle, with rudimentary maps, old war legends, and the promise of billions that would make the wealth of the Swiss accounts seem insignificant. The search fueled global imagination. There was talk of millions of gold bars stacked in dark chambers, with a value that, today, would be incalculable. Accounts from treasure hunters claim to have found sealed tunnels, mysterious symbols etched into rock, and even active traps. Stories of instant fortunes were often debunked, but hope, or greed, never died. The enigma, however, persists. Does Yamashita's treasure truly exist on the legendary scale that is claimed? Many Western historians doubt it, suggesting that much of the loot may have been secretly diverted and integrated into financial systems in the post-war years, erasing it from historical record. Others insist the gold is still there, waiting in the depths of the earth, protected by concrete seals and the weight of the jungle. They believe that the only treasure stolen twice is the one stolen by history itself, regardless of whether it was secretly recovered or still rests beneath the mountains of the Philippines. One truth is undeniable: billions in imperial gold remain officially missing. To the world, this treasure is the money that history swallowed. It has become less a target for hunting and more a myth that echoes the destructive power of war and the enduring fascination with wealth that is so near, yet eternally out of reach. It is money frozen not by code or banking secrecy, but by legend. And as the sun sets over the jungles of Southeast Asia and torches are lit at the entrances of dark caves, Yamashita's lost treasure continues to be the golden needle in the haystack of history. A vivid reminder of the cost of imperial ambition and the persistence of a mystery that is, quite literally, worth a fortune. Case 4. The Frozen Fortune of Muammar Gaddafi. We leave the mythical jungles of Asia and return to the turbulence of contemporary history, where the mystery of forgotten money takes on a new and dangerous dimension. This is the story of one of the largest frozen fortunes ever recorded, belonging to a man who ruled Libya with an iron fist for over 4 decades, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. When Gaddafi's regime collapsed in 2011, amidst the Arab Spring and NATO intervention, the world expected a clear outcome: the location and confiscation of his vast wealth. The estimates were staggering, calculating that the dictator and his family had embezzled over the years about $200 billion, an amount that effectively made him one of the richest men on the planet, with a net worth surpassing that of many countries. But the dictator's fall did not bring clarity. On the contrary, it only opened the Pandora's box of financial mystery. As international investigators scoured bank accounts, shell companies, and state reserves, they discovered that the bulk of this value had simply vanished. It was not in Libyan vaults, nor in the most obvious Swiss banks. It was hidden in a global labyrinth of offshore assets and secret transactions, meticulously built to withstand any regime, including its own collapse. This fortune was not buried in tunnels like Yamashita's, nor frozen by a forgotten password like Bitcoin. It was in motion, but invisibly. Investigations revealed that the money was disguised in gold, transported on cargo planes from Tripoli to unknown destinations, in luxury real estate in European capitals, registered under third-party names, and in secret accounts that stretched from Hong Kong to South Africa. The hunt for Gaddafi's treasure has become the largest modern financial pursuit. It is a legal and intelligence odyssey that continues to this day, more than a decade after his death. Governments and prosecutors worldwide are still unraveling the layers of shell companies and obscure trusts that shielded his family's money. They are tracking gold ingots, seeking jewels, and attempting to recover shares in multinational corporations that were bought with the Libyan people's money. The trail is long and often suddenly runs cold, leaving investigators stuck in bureaucratic and legal dead ends. Gaddafi's money was not lost by accident. It was hidden with purpose and precision. It is the personification of wealth that becomes a political asset and a financial ghost, existing only in the hope of one day being recovered. It is a vast fortune that remains imprisoned in a legal limbo, unavailable to rebuild the nation he emptied. $200 billion. An amount that could redefine the future of a country, but which, in practice, is a frozen treasure scattered across hard-to-reach financial satellites. The story of Gaddafi's treasury proves that the global financial architecture is as capable of protecting a tyrant's wealth as it is an ordinary citizen's says. And, like the lost Bitcoin and the imperial gold, the mystery remains. Where exactly is the rest? From Bitcoin lost in the depths of code to imperial gold swallowed by history and billions of dictators scattered across the world map, one immutable truth hangs over all these treasures. Wealth only has value when it is in motion, when it is active. The instant it stops, when it is sealed by forgetfulness, by greed, or by the weight of bureaucracy, it transforms into something completely different. It becomes a legend, a financial myth. These frozen fortunes are the biggest reminder that power is not just in accumulating, but in accessing. Hidden money is the tragedy of lost potential. We are talking about trillions that could change entire economies, but that lie in a state of perpetual suspension, accessible only by speculation and the obsession of modern-day treasure hunters. Somewhere, beneath mountains of trash, inside impenetrable vaults, or encoded in lines of data lost to time, the money waits. Trillions wait, untouched. But the final question, which haunts us after every mystery, is not where the money is. It is if anyone ever will possess the final key of memory to bring it back to life. The fortune vanishes. The mystery remains. Which of these hidden fortunes do you believe will be found first? Or what other great secret wealth should we investigate? Comment your theory below. And if the fascination with secrets guarded by time captivated you, like this video to help us unravel more mysteries and subscribe to the Hidden Hoards Files to unlock the next story of wealth and suspense. Thank you for watching.